going to talk about vengeance and yet mercy. From these three verses, we see Isaiah looking through the tunnel of time. We always talk about Isaiah being the visionary or the eagle-eyed prophet that could see beyond his people going into, amen, into captivity and staying there a lifetime and coming back. So he also was able to see a change coming. Once he had spiritual, he prophesied and he wrote these things down. And in the midst of this, he sees a war spiritually happening.
All right now.
On where people had rebelled against God.
Yes.
And see, sometimes we look at the word anger and we forget anger and revenge. Revenge means that you're going to get somebody that done you wrong.
All right now.
Or have crossed you, or have hated you, or took advantage of you, or were disobedient in your instruction, and so revenge. In the midst of revenge, so we've seen this as the prophet sees forth that who is this that cometh from Eden and Boraz, when his garments stained. In other words, and then we understand the Edomites and the redness. That was how we all the time we think about redness, we always think about Esau and Jacob, and how they was a constant war between the two nations in their mother's womb. And so we understand that his peril and where he traveled. And he talked about how glorious in his appearance, but he traveled in the greatness of his strength.
Yes.
Meaning understood that when the vengeance of God or the day of the Lord is at hand, no one will be able to withstand the power of God.
All right now.
Now, even we talk about the crimson garments that he had from Boaz, which it says in the splendor of his apparel. We understand that the nation of Edom, that was a proud nation that went against Israel many times.
Oh, yes.
That will finally be subdued.
Yes.
In their greatness. But when it's going to come a time when the ungodly, and he said those that forgot God.
All right now.
Or left God, or that was none of his, he said. None of mine. We're going to fall to the anger of God.
Oh, yes.
And it speaks about it also that his emperor or the blood of them stained his garment.
Yes.
Now in my Bible it says the lifeblood splattered on my garment.
Yes.
The law always like that because interpretation, you take it from the Chaldean, from the Hebrew. And it brings it out a very point. It says the lifeblood. We know how blood can be splattered. You can be cut and blood is splattered.
Yes.
Because hit a vein, then you're able to stop it. But lifeblood, that means I have taken their life.
Yes.
Whatever it is, you know how folks lose. You can lose so much blood, it's unable except you get a transfusion.
Yes.
That you might live.
Yes.
So he said, my garments is stained with their lifeblood.
Yes.
Not only do I took the blood, but I took their life.
Yes.
Whatever it was, and we understood that there was the blood, that the blood was important because the life is in the blood.
Yes.
And so we understand when he said the lifeblood, he took the life of them that have forgotten God, have angered God, and have went away from God, and that were none of his.
Yes.
There was his enemy. But even that in the midst of God, in his anger, and he said, we understand that he can only tread the wine press alone.
Yes, yes.
That means that no one else
Hey.
could do it.
Yeah.
No one else could pour out the vengeance and yet have mercy.
Oh, yes.
No one else could come to this battle with the strength that God alone could have.
Yes.
And that's what I was saying. It says that Jesus paid it all.
Yes.
And all to him we owe.
Yes.
And I say that crimson stain, that blood he had, was the only thing that saved us.
Yes.
Dropping down to the 7th verse, and it said, I will mention the loving kindness of the Lord and the praise of the Lord according to all that the Lord hath bestowed on us.
All right now.
And the great goodness toward the house of Israel, which he hath bestowed on them according to his mercies and according to the multitude of his loving kindness. Now think about, in the midst of all this happening, the trampling on the enemies of God,
All right now.
everyone that forgot God and left God, in the midst of this, God pauses after all this wrath and have to remember. He said, I remember Israel.
Yes.
And the praise, how they praised me and they bestowed upon me, in the midst of all this anger, I'm going to have mercy.
Yes.
And he said, I'm going to have what? Great goodness toward the house of Israel, which have bestowed on them according to his mercy.
Yes.
So in other words, we know how it was when the death angel came into Egypt. And he told him to put the lamb blood of spot, without spot and wrinkle, and put it on the doorpost and the lintel. So when the death angel came and seen the blood, it would what? Pass over them.
Yes.
So we understand that the blood represented the life of God who spared their life. So blood was spilled to have mercy on Israel
Yes.
with his loving kindness and his multitude. And it speaks to us. And we look down there and further in there from 15, going 15 to 16. And it reads, somebody got that for me? Read.
Look down from heaven, and behold from the habitation of the holiness
Watch out now.
and of thy glory.
Yes.
Where is thy zeal and thy strength, the sounding of thy bowels and of thy mercies towards me? Are they restrained?
All right, we hear the cry and the prayer for mercy.
Yes.
When God pour out his vengeance on the day of the Lord,
Yeah.
folks, let's say people gonna be running and say they're asking the heels to hide them.
Yes.
Hide me from the one that come to destroy.
Yes.
But in the midst of that, God have already poured out mercy.
Yes.
And so his mercy, he comes, and it says they will look down from heaven and from the holy, and it says a beautiful habitation in mind, it says. And he was asking, where's the zeal and the strength and the sounds of the bowels of mercy toward me, and are thy restraints?
All right.
A word, don't hold back now.
Yes.
Folk will be crying out, saying, Lord, if I ever did needed it, Lord, I sure do need him now.